All right. Shalom. I'd like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Just bear with me 1 second. All right. As you can see from the name of the title, Woe unto the idle shepherd, and various topics. Pretty much just going to go through a few precepts and just, go in the spirit. I don't really have anything set. Have a couple of scriptures that I wrote down, and then just go in the spirit, see whatever the spirit allows me to go over. But you have a lot of, here it is, it's October 11th, 2017, and you have a lot of people that are waking up, to the nation, to the knowledge of the nation of Israel. And Shalom to the Akim, on the comment board. You have a lot of people that are waking up to knowing that they're Israelites. And you have a lot of guys that are supposed to be shepherds, that are supposed to be watching over the flock, and they're not doing that. They're feeding the flock with GMOs. I mean, they're giving them some truth, to let them know they're Israelites, and and certain certain truths that are in the scriptures, but you got to give them the whole thing. Matter of fact, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 2. And I started the first verse. It says, I'm sorry, let me go to chapter 3. Yep, I started Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So it's commanded to us not only to speak to the house of Israel, but to eat the whole roll. The whole roll meaning the whole Bible, because before the Bible was actually written, or it was actually in actual book form, it was actually in scrolls also. Before there was an actual book form, there were scrolls. That's why I believe in the Old Testament, if I'm not mistaken, it was called the House of Scrolls, if I'm not mistaken. Because there were scrolls first before they were actually codified and put into a book form. And what the Lord told Ezekiel, which pretty much applies to all of us, scripture say, if any man think himself to be a prophet, let him acknowledge that the words that I speak unto you are the words of the Most High. So it says, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go and speak to the house of Israel. So after you consume the roll, after you eat this knowledge with your mind, food for thought, then you got to go out and you got to speak to the nation of Israel. And when you speak to the nation of Israel, you're supposed to tell them everything. You're not supposed to withhold any information, because the Lord told us that we have to tell them, whether they listen or whether they don't listen. It's not up to us to make them believe. It's up to us to teach, and it's up to us to teach and to give out the message that the Lord said to give out, and the Lord will give the increase, when the time, is right, All right, so let me read on. It says, and like I said, Shalom to the Akim on the comment boards. If there happen to be any sisters, Shalom to you too. Ezekiel 3:1. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. And that's how this word is. This word, when you first find out that you're an Israelite, it's very sweet. You know, you find out that we're actually Israelites, we're kings. You know, we have a kingdom coming to us. You know, you find out that the Savior, Yahweh Shai, is a so-called black man. You know, and you find out that the condition that your people were in, you know, was all because of the curses of that we broke the law, and that one day the Lord's going to raise us back up and set us back up into power. You know, and I mean, all of it, we're going to have acres of land, we're going to have slaves, we're going to have women. You know, we're not going to have any more woes anymore, we're not going to cry anymore, we're going to be totally righteous, and it's beautiful. But then the bitter part comes in, you know, and the bitter part is what? Is the afflictions, you know, the agony, the infirmities, and all the different things that we have to go through as trials in this truth. And it doesn't feel good, you know? And then all of a sudden it goes from, matter of fact, let me get one precept real quick. It goes from sweet to bitter, you know? So it says here, Isaiah 48:10, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. And that furnace of affliction is pretty much chopping away at all our imperfections, so to speak. You know, for lack of better words, it's cutting out all of the excess dross, and you know, all the bad stuff that's in us, so to speak. You know, let me get one more precept. 1 Peter 4:1. It says, for as much then as Yahweh Shai has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin. See? So we're pretty much going through a purging process right now. And it doesn't feel good. But when we first found out about the truth, it was sweet, like honey. But now we are in the thick of it, you know, the bitterness. We're in the thick of it. Let me see if I can find this one precept. We're in the thick of it. And then I believe there's one in Peter. So like there's a bunch of scriptures coming to my head, so let me see if I can find them. Just bear with me 1 minute. So we're in the thick of it now. I believe there's one in 1 Timothy. All right, that's not it. I can't even think of the wording. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it. Brothers, I'm pretty sure brothers would have found it. But I got this one. This might be the one here. Let me just go to this one instead. This is the book of 1 Peter. We're just there. 1 Peter chapter 1. And I'll start at verse 6. Even though all of that's good, but 1 Peter 1:6, wherein you greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations. And trust and believe, man, when you're in them temptations, it's at times it gets tough. It gets rough on the mind. It gets rough on the flesh. You know, but the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, will make a way for us to maneuver around those temptations. You know, that's why, you know, we got to pray, have supplications, you know, fast, you know, and many other such things, you know, that we do in order to maintain that path, you know, because a lot of these pastors, you know, I'm not even talking about the pork chop eating pastors. I'm talking about guys that know that they're Israelites. You know, they live in they're living that good life. You know, that their money's coming in big time. You know, they're living that good life, that lavish life. And what's happening is the flock starts to dwindle, or starts to lack. because the shepherd is not willing to continually feed the flock. That's what we had the example here in Atlanta of this jive turkey, Yaradan, the cares of this world consumed him, and he wouldn't put out no videos. He wouldn't edify brothers. He wouldn't build brothers up, and that's what's happening now with Nate. That's what's happening with General Yohana, Bubble Eye Blackfish, Rakar from the GOCC, and many others. They're not feeding the flock. They're giving them some certain things, but pretty much now they're in that comfort zone, because they're living good. They got their money coming in. So since they got that money coming in, and their minds are looking more towards the pleasures than they're looking towards the estate of the flock. That's why they're telling them that the mark of the beast is not the microchip. It's either Christianity or an embargo or whatever else they say now. So they're comfortable. So they're not letting Jake know about the temptations, the trials, the tribulations. They're not letting them know, excuse me, they're not letting them know about not taking the mark of the beast, which is a microchip. They're not telling them about the concentration camps, FEMA troops. They're not telling them about Jacob's trouble to come, the hardships, the bitter truth of the scriptures. They're just feeding them with GMOs and with smooth words. And those smooth words ain't going to get you past the times that are coming. Because it's like it says in, let me get this real quick, 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. So what are we to do knowing that the scriptures speak about perilous times to come? Well, we're supposed to, as shepherds, we're supposed to warn the flock so that they can get themselves prepared, so that they get themselves ready for the day of battle, so to speak, the day that's coming, so that at least their mind can be geared towards it. That's what the Apostle Paul said, I have not shunned to declare to you all the gospel, because he gave them everything, from the honey, the sweetness of it, all the way into the bitter of it. Like it said, a matter of fact, let me finish that out. Let me get another one real quick here. This is the book of Revelation chapter 10. And like the brothers are putting a bunch of comments on the board now. Let me get to this one. Let me read this one, and then I'm gonna get some of the ones on the comment board. This is Revelation chapter 10 and 9. It says, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. Which the little book? The Bible. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. Meaning consume it with your mind. The same thing that the Lord is telling Ezekiel. And I shall make that belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. See, so the mind is going to be bitter. Why? Because of the things that we have to go through, But it's sweet to our mouth because we know that there's a kingdom coming, And this is the book of Ecclesiastes, the 1st chapter. Just bear with me 1 second, Hakim. Shalaka, brothers, got some interruptions. I may have to come back. And like I said, I'm going to get to some of the scriptures. I'm going to get to some of the scriptures on the comment board once I read this last one. Salaki for the interruption. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. See? So that's what it is, So the more of this knowledge you get, the more your sorrow increases. You know, I was texting back and forth with the brother Barack Gabar this morning around 3 or 4 in the morning. You know, because pretty much I couldn't sleep, and that brother, he's a night owl. You know, so I was texting him back and forth. You know, we were pretty much just saying how everything in this world after a while is just a vanity and vexation of spirit, and you understand it not just because you read it in a book, but because you're actually experiencing it. So brother comforted my spirit. I mean, I hope I comforted his spirit. And then eventually, after I texted him a few texts, and we were, talking about a few things, we sent each other a couple of scriptures. I finally found myself drifting to fall asleep. But that's what it is. That's why this knowledge is the comforter. This truth is the comforter. And what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to tell Jake what's coming, but we're supposed to also comfort each other. That's why the Apostle Paul said this in 1 Thessalonians 4:18. Wherefore comfort one another with these words, because these words are what's comforting to us. When we're going through certain situations. And sometimes you're in such bitterness you don't want to hear anything. But that's just the flesh. But when you get past that and those emotions, and you get to the reality of what's really going on, then you understand. Say, yeah, well, we're going through these things because of this. But the Lord said He ain't gonna leave us. He's not gonna forsake us. He's gonna do this for So that's why there's a constant battle between the flesh and the spirit, man. And that's, you're not gonna understand that unless you're actually going through the thick of it. And these trials and tribulations, the bitterness of the scriptures is bitter. But the Lord said, whom the Lord loveth, He chasteneth and rebuketh often. Let me get that real quick. Hebrews 12, I believe that's either 6 or 8. Right. It says, man, this whole thing is, I'll just start at Hebrews 12 and 5. And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of Him. Because, it's easy to give up. It's a real easy thing to give up and say, what the hell with it? I ain't going to do this no more. Boom, I'm out of here. But a spiritual man, even Jeremiah said that. I said, man, I ain't teaching your words no more. I'm tired of this. You lied to me. You did that. He got upset with the Most High, and he just started walking away from it. But the word was burning in him. So if you're a prophet, no matter what feelings are going through your mind or going on inside of you, you're going to do what the Lord wants you to do because you're the Lord's man. So we all hoping that we're the Lord's men, so that no matter what, the Lord always keeps us on that path. It says, and you have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of Him. For whom the Lord loveth, He chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom He receiveth. And that's what we're going through, because another thing too, this knowledge is a great knowledge. And this knowledge will puff you up. This knowledge will make you proud. But the Lord does things to keep us humble. Because the Lord said, he that exalted himself is an abomination against the Most High. So with this great knowledge that we receive, we're supposed to maintain that level of humility, Because you see a lot of guys coming in. That's what the scriptures say. The Lord told Timothy through the mouth of Paul. He said, not a novice, least being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Because that's what happens. This knowledge is so great. And you feel so empowered by it, that it'll get to the point where it'll puff you up. That's why the Apostle Paul said that there was a thorn given to me in my side, lest I should be exalted above measure from the amount of revelation that were given to me. Because this knowledge will puff your ass up, and we've seen it time and time again. Guys don't know how to maneuver in the spirit. And more than that, they're just not part of the elect. So you got to be careful with that. Just because you have a good mind, a good memory, doesn't mean you may not be a man of the Lord. You just might be a dude with a great memory, and you can remember everything and parrot everything. Like your man Yaradon. He was an excellent example. I mean, the guy knew precepts, he knew breakdowns. You know what? And I'm here in Atlanta, and I'm quizzing brothers on certain basic things, and certain brothers are not on the level that they should be on. But that's what he would do. He would take the knowledge and pretty much it was a lordship over them. The knowledge was dangling over them. So whenever they would question anything, he hit them with scriptures, you know, and then quell the situation down. You know, he didn't want brothers to get to the level to where they knew the scriptures and knew more, you know, and were able to if he did anything wrong, be able to bring it to him. You know, he found an excuse. You know, for every time they would bring accusation against him, he'll find an excuse. You know, and you ain't supposed to be like that, man. The Apostle Paul said, I have not shunned to teach you all the doctrine. You know, Yahushua told the disciples, I have things to say unto thee, but you are not ready for them yet. In so many words, you know. So we're once again, Yahushua said through the mouth of Paul, when you get this knowledge, you teach men that will be able to teach others also. So it's about building brothers up, growing. Not using the knowledge to rule over brothers, you know, to make them bend to your will, because this is not our will. This is the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It ain't got nothing to do with us. We're just vessels that the Lord used to bring out this information. And that's why these false prophets that are out here, among the other different Israelite camps, the Lord's going to deal with them because they're neglecting the part of the doctrine, and they're neglecting the flock because they're not warning them. You know, matter of fact, let's get to it. Let me read some of these scriptures, man. Brothers put a lot of good scriptures on here. I'm gonna go back just a few for right now. Let me see. GMS, no excuses. Ecclesiastes 30:1. He that loveth the Son causeth them oft to feel the rod. Yeah, that he may have joy of him at the end, and that's why the Lord is doing it. That's why it says, despise not the chastening of the Lord. Why? Because it's like, damn, man, why the Lord doing this, man? I'm doing what the Lord said for me to do. Why he keep putting me in this situation? But it's all to make us stronger. Mentally stronger. Internally stronger. It's one thing to be strong on the outside, but what about the inside? You know? Like if you watch that movie, V for Vendetta, and towards the end of the movie, that chick, Natalie Portman, you know, when she was talking to V, she was telling him, I wish I was stronger. I wish I was this. I wish I was that. I wish I wasn't afraid. And what did he do? He threw her ass and locked her ass in a dungeon. And he would constantly bombard her with different things and tell her she's going to be put to death if she don't do this, if she don't do that, she don't do this. To the point where her attitude was from fear to callousness. Meaning she didn't, not carelessness, but callous. You know, like when you have calluses on your hands, you know, you don't feel anything anymore. So he made her spirit to have calluses on it, you know, so that she wouldn't have the fear anymore, because that's what she wanted. But that's what the Lord is doing to us. The things that we're going through, he's making us go through these things and through these tribulations and through these mental fights, you know, and mental depression or whatever it is we go through, to build us up, to make us hard from within. That's what the scriptures speak about enduring, to be made hard. And that's what the Lord is doing. And that's what the Lord said, don't despise the chastening of the Lord. You know? All right. This is brother Pashai, 1 Peter 4:12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. And that's why you have to declare the whole doctrine to the brothers, so that they can be mentally prepared. When it comes, they say, oh, this is what the scriptures mean by this. Or this is why this brother went through this. Or this is why the apostles or the elders or the camp heads or the brothers that's out there teaching, they say this and that because of this, you know? So you can have those experiences. You're being tried out. And by you being tried out and having those experiences, guess what? That makes you stronger from within. It's about being chiseled on the inside and not on the outside. It's about being cock diesel in the spirit and not in the flesh. You know? and some and some brothers have the gift of being cock diesel on the inside and outside, which is that's a double plus, like in that movie 1984. All right, GMS Vegas sit downs, 1 Corinthians 10:13. This is a brother Karatazar out in Vegas. There hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it. And that's the case, because the Lord, he's going to put hell on us, but it ain't going to be to break us. You know? Because the Lord is about, if you're doing what the Lord say to do, the Lord ain't going to cast you out just like that. Matter of fact, since I mentioned that, let me see if I can find this one scripture. This is a favorite scripture of mine from years ago. It's an oldie but goodie. Every once in a while I quote it. Let me see if I can find it. Because it is the truth, man. It is the truth. And that's why the Lord said that I just lost my train of thought. Another scripture popped in my head, but I lost it. All right, Lord's will will come back. This is Lamentations 3:34. The point is further down. To crush under his feet all the prisoners of the earth. This is it right here. Starts at 35. To turn aside the right of man before the face of the Most High. To subvert a man in his cause, the Lord approveth not. So the Lord is not going to subvert or overturn a man in his cause if he's having the fear of the Lord and pushing towards the Lord and putting his best foot forward, so to speak, to do what the Lord commanded him. You know? So the Lord's not going to overthrow a man like that, because the Lord said that he's not unrighteous to forget our deeds in love. You know? But them jive turkeys, the Lord will subvert them every time. He'll let them be built up with so much and then overturn them. You know? It says, who is he that saith, and it cometh to pass, and the Lord commandeth it not. All right, so let me go back to the comment board. The brother GMS Ya'ai Batazar Yakazak Allah, Romans 7:22. I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. See? 23. I see another law in my members warring against the law of my mind. See? And that's the thing. What's the law of our mind? This truth. That's why Yahushua said the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. You know? So it's going to be a battle all the way to the end till we change these corruptible bodies. You know? It says, I see another law in my members warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. Yeah, because this is how we were created. We were made like this, you know. But with the hope, as the Lord said, to subject the man in hope of salvation, and that's in the book of Romans, 8 chapters, on so many words. So that's why we're in this situation. You know, we were made subject to vanity, not willingly. You know, but by reason of him who subjected the same in hope. And that's what we waiting for. We have the hope that the Lord, as low as we are now, we have the hope that the Lord is going to put us up very high if we continue on doing the work. You know, that's why, you know, brothers out there that's slacking, you need to get in motion, man. Get out that shiftless gear, man. You know, get out that first gear and start shifting, you know. And start popping them gears, man, so you can work out your salvation. Verse 24. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? See, and that's part of it, and that's why we go through the things that we go through. Once again, Karatazar, Galatians 6:3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. That's right, because this knowledge puffeth up. Let's see. Pashai, Ephesians 3:19. And to know the love of Yahushua, which passeth knowledge, that you might be filled with all the fullness of the Most High. And that's what it's about. It's about you learning as much as you can, you know, and passing on the knowledge that you have to other brothers that will be able to teach other brothers, you know. But you're in that walk that we have, that spiritual walk that we have, you're going to have men that are going to be crept in unawares, that are going to be coming into this thing because that to do the wicked things so that they can be condemned because that is their role. You know? Read it on. Shai again, John 15:15. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. Right. And that's what this guy was doing. He was being the Lord over them. And when I told him that you exercise the Lordship, I'm not exercising the Lordship. Am I exercising the Lordship? You know? And then the brother was going to explain, but I said, no, brother, either yay or nay, because it was getting long, and then he, like the snake he sat back in his, like back in that comfort zone. Yeah. Because the brothers were not allowed to explain why he or how he was doing it. But it was pretty much, it was mind fucking, like he wouldn't do it outright and say, I'm your Lord, you're going to bow down to me, even though he did tell certain brothers something along those lines, but he would do it with the trickery of his words,
And he would use the apostles and elders to pretty much back his actions, because he would stay in contact with y'all, so he would say, the apostles and elders, they said this, or they said we should do it this way. And he did it with numerous brothers, with the brothers in Decatur, to get them to pay him a certain amount of money to stay in the house. He did it here, like I gave that account of me breaking rank because I wanted to stay in my room, in my home. So like the apostle was saying, he did everything very subtle. He was very snake-like. He's actually the biggest snake I've ever met in my life.
God. Going back to John 15:15, but I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. The brother Jim at Sin City, Las Vegas. Salaki, brother, I forgot your name, bro. So many names, brother, but Salaki, I know who the brother is. I forgot his name. He put in unless it's a different brother using that account, he put in the definition for the word callous. Adjective, showing or having an insensitive and cruel disregard for others. See? So it's like a callous, but really so much as callous as far as just being, because really, technically, you have to be that way, because 2/3, the Lord said, pray not for these people. So you can't give a good goddamn about them. Because they have their walk, we have our walk. Right? Brother Demashapai Shalom, D-Mash. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Zechariah 13:9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. That's right. That's right, and that's what's happening. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my power. Why? Because if we endure chastening, then the Lord dealeth with us as with sons, as it says in Hebrews 12. But if we don't endure it, or we're without chastisement, we're what? Bastards and not sons, and that's not good. Irashah, Hebrews 12:8. But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards and not sons. Hey, that's heavy. That's the spirit. Yeah, the brother said, Wendell Neal and Akim on fire. He said fuego in Spanish, on fire. And it's true, because I'm trying to get back to some more scriptures, but hey, I'll just ride the comment board for right now. GMS Ya'ai Batazah Yakazak Allah, 2 Timothy 2:3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to go to the movies or do certain things in the world, have to work. Working is of the world, so I'm not going to work. Fuck it. Nah, you're going to do all those things. You know what I'm saying? But when you get consumed by these things, that's where you going off at. The brother Benaiah, lawyer, Sirach 2:5. For as gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. That's right. And shalom to the rest of you, Akim. The brother Yahweh Banya Sha'ala, Psalms 51:11, casting that away from thy presence and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Yawana Banyamyan Mashayak, Romans 8:36, as it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter. Nay, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. Yeah, because we're conquering this and we're walking this walk and being what's the word I'm looking for? Fruitful. There's another word, but being fruitful in what we do, because we're doing it through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai and not of ourselves. You know? GMS Ya'ai Batazah Yakazak Allah, Galatians 5:13. For brethren, you have been called unto liberty, only use not your liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. That's right. Proverbs 3:11, Yakal Lawaya. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. That's Proverbs 3:11. All right, so let me go back. Let me go back here. All right, so now I want to go here to Zechariah 11:5. And the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd. Let's see what the word foolish here is.
11:15.
I'm sorry, 11:15. Foolish. The word foolish is awalaya. Awalaya just says foolish, impious, foolish. That's pretty much what a fool is. Somebody that's impious. Word impious, or ayn is no or not. Impious is devoted. So a fool is somebody that's not devoted. Not devoted to who? Not devoted to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Let's see, they got H191 here. Let's see what this says. Awa Yallah, be foolish, foolish. One who despises wisdom, see? One who mocks when guilty. Man. Of one who is quarrelsome. Damn. Of one who is licentious, silly fool. So a fool is somebody that's impious or not devoted to the Most High, which means he doesn't have the fear of the Lord. All right, so it says again, Zechariah 11:15, and the Lord said unto me, take unto thee yet the instruments of a foolish shepherd, for lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off. And that's what's happening right now. Jake was cut off, you know, and the Lord's raising up men. Damn. Let me see. No, I can use this one. The Lord's raising up men to teach you the right path and to visit. See, that's the visiting part, is teaching this knowledge in its entirety. Jeremiah 3:15. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding, not leave the flock starving. Because Yahweh told Peter, that lovest thou me? He said, yeah, Lord, I love thee. He said, feed my sheep and feed my lambs. See? Why? Because the sheep have to be fed until they come of age to be able to feed others. Like the Apostle Paul said, how am I pain until Yahweh be formed in you? Because once Yahweh is formed in you, then you have come of age to be able to discern between good and evil, and you won't get caught up in those traps, you know, of this madness, and you'll be able to teach others how to be subtle like that also, how to discern when something is right and when something is wrong, how to read into something and eat the meat and spit out the bones, you know. But as long as you're still a baby, you don't know. And that's the job of the shepherd. They're supposed to lead the sheep. All right? All right, now going back to Zechariah, it says, for lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off. And that's what's happening. You have Nate, you have General Yohana, you have Grekar, the GOCC, which we call Bubble Eye Blackfish, you know, and many others. You know, and although you've given them certain truths, you are taken away from them too. Now you have this other jive turkey, Alizé, which he's really starting to peel off the skin off a chick, talking about I don't mind being called an African. That's some straight up bullshit, and he knows that shit is off. But you know what? To be politically correct, so he can still be in that limelight with them guys, he's gonna do whatever he got to do.
Get that money.
You know? Yeah. Matter of fact, before I go back, let me finish up here. Let me get this other precept. It says, "For lo, I will raise up a shepherd in the land which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken." Because Jacob's broken. You know, and then there's certain ones of them that the Lord wants that are part of the elect. That's the reason why we out there teaching, because the Lord said it pleased the Lord by the foolishness of preaching to save those that believe. And that's the deal. And that's why we're doing what we're doing, so that the word can have benefit in those out there that are part of the elect. And the Lord could seal them. And their money that he gave us, those talents that he gave us, can be pushed out there, and they can be used and traded in the spiritual stock exchange, so to speak. You know, it says, "Nor feed that standeth still," and that's why the parable in Matthew the 25th chapter, when Yahushua cursed that foolish servant out, he pretty much said, "When saw we thee hungered and naked and this and that, and didn't do it to you?" He said, "When you didn't do it to one of these that believe in me, you didn't do it to me." See, it says, "But he shall eat the flesh, no feed that standeth still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat and tear their claws in pieces." See, because they're pretty much just taking off Jake's nationality off of him, you know. And a lot of these guys are doing it now. This is also where these fake, phony pastors come in. These pork chop eating pastors, you know, like your man, big Apostle Geno Jennings, and all the rest of them other clowns that are coming out to work with them wacky Christians, as Apostle Torah coins them, that are coming out the woodworks and are all of a sudden now attacking the Hebrew Israelite doctrine, you know, saying that the Negroes are not Hebrew Israelites and that they're bugging and this, that, and the other, and Deuteronomy 28 and this, that, and the other, because they're peeling the veil back off of them. But what's happening is we're really supposed to be happy about that, because the way of truth is becoming more and more precious. The way to get to the truth is becoming more and more precious. There's more and more stumbling blocks out there. They're going to pay for that, because the scripture said you're not supposed to put a stumbling block in the way of your brother, you know, and that's what they're doing, you know. But the Lord is now making the passage to the truth that much more narrow. Matter of fact, since I mentioned that, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 7. And I see I see brothers making the comeback with more scriptures. But Salaki, man, I must be allowed to read these. It says, Matthew 7:13, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." So all these different religions, that's a wide gate, right? It says, "Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." So now, how is the Lord making this is a prophecy. How is the Lord making this prophecy ring true even to this very day? He's making the truth that much harder to get to by having all these different oppositions. You know, you got this guy teaching one thing, you got this guy teaching another thing. You got Hebrew Israelites that are teaching different things. One of them is teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite, which is totally off. All right? Yup. And you have others that are teaching that you have they call themselves Israelites, but they're teaching that the other nations can be saved. That's off. Yup. You know? And then you have others that are teaching that the mark of the beast is not the microchip, but it's an embargo in Christianity. That's off. Yup. All right? So in every direction you see in, the truth is being made that much more precious. And it's beautiful. You know, when you really understand what the Lord is doing, when your spiritual eyes are open to understand what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is doing, he's making the truth more and more precious every day, even though it's out there in abundance. It says, because straight is the gate. Let's look up that word straight. Straight is stenos. The Greek word stenos, narrow, straight. Let's just look it up. I mean, we know what the word means. You know, it means a position of difficulty, but let's see what it says. Straight, a narrow passage of water connecting two seas or a large area of water, used in reference to a situation characterized by a specified degree of trouble or difficulty. See? So now it's a difficulty to get to the knowledge. But Yahweh Shai said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. A stranger's voice will they not hear. So Yahweh Shai himself, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai himself will guide us through the maze to get to the truth, to get to the knowledge. See? Down at the bottom it says archaic it says of a place of limited spatial capacity, narrow or cramped. And that's also what it is. Because this truth is only reserved, the seats, they're reserved seating. You know? This is what does that say? RSVP? Reserved for a very important person or something like that. You know? So this is VIP. You know, this is just for the elect. And those seats, it ain't standing room. There's only seats. And those seats, once those seats are filled, like it says in Psalms, there are set thrones. Once those seats are filled, you know, then there's nobody else that can get in there because those seats are reserved. Those are reservations that are reserved for the elect and not for all of Israel. So the Lord is making it a limited spatial capacity, narrow or cramped, you know. And that's why it tells you in the Apocrypha that the passage is narrow, so that only one person can go in at a time. And did not King Solomon say that out of 1,000 men, one was righteous? So out of when you go out here and you look among Israelites, out of every 1,000 Israelites, there's one that's righteous. All right. So now, going back, read that again. See what else we got here. Matthew 7:14. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So let's look up the word narrow. Thalibo, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. You know, let's say Esau say it.
Strong's G 2346.
Thalibo. To press as grapes, press hard upon. A compressed way. See, when you compress something, it's concentrated, you know, which is compacted. Like you have music, right? In music, you have different files. You have a WAV file, which is a bigger file, and you have an MP3 file, which is a smaller file. So the MP3 file is compressed. And then you have other files. You have zip files and, you know, different other files. And there's some that are compressed. And that's why you have to open them up into another a file type, you know, to be able to play it on a device, you know, because they're compressed. So this truth is compressed. It's concentrated. Narrow, straightened, contracted, metaphorically, the trouble, afflict, distress. So pretty much it's compressed. Why? Because there's only a certain amount of seats. And among the government of Israel, there's only 144,000 seats. And then you have the rest of the elect of the 1/3. And that's pretty much here in America, the elect that are going to be saved is really a small number in comparison to the whole nation of Israel. All right? So that's it on that. So going back to Zechariah 11, I'll go back to 6. It says, for lo, I will raise up the shepherd in the land, which shall not visit those that be cut off, neither shall seek the young one, nor heal that is broken, nor feed that standeth still, but he shall eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their claws in pieces. Woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. And that's a lot of you guys out there, man. You idle shepherds, especially you guys that's in high positions, you know, like Nate and General Yohana and Bubba Light Blackfish and a lot of you other guys and them other different alphabet soup groups. So now let's look up this word idol, because the way it's spelled idol, it's spelled like an idol, you know, like something that's carved and you bow down to. But let's see what it really says. Idol. And the word woe means destruction. It's alayal. It says of naught, good for nothing, worthless. So go unto you worthless shepherd, you shiftless shepherds. You shiftless, no good jive turkeys, man. Shiftless. You refuse to teach Israel the right way. You refuse to tell them the truth on all levels, not just a few things, because 85% of the truth is not the truth. The Lord said that no lie is of the truth. So even if you're teaching 95% and you're teaching 5% lie, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So the whole lump is corrupt. You got to teach it all the way or nothing at all. It says of naught, good for nothing, worthless, of physicians, a shepherd, a divination, of false gods. All right. So you have those idols, but then you have of naught, good for nothing, worthless. And so these shepherds, destruction unto them because they're worthless. No, they're worthless, shiftless coons. All right, let me see the word woe. Hawaya. Alas, ha, ho, oh, woe. So woe means destruction. It could mean war. It could be destruction. You know, it could be a sign of distress. You know? So woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. And they're going to be darkened. You know, these are false prophets. They're going to be darkened. There's another scripture. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Where it says, let thy eye be single. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Yep. This is the book of Matthew. Let me just get that real quick. Matthew chapter 6. Matter of fact, there's a chapter before this. Matthew chapter 6. And I'll start at 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. That's physical riches. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. And that's heavenly riches. And the heavenly riches are in the sight of the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You know? And whenever we find ourselves in our situations, we can take out of that bank account, so to speak, because the Lord will make a way for us to be delivered from those situations. You know? Because we earnestly putting in money into our spiritual bank account by using the money that He gave us, which is the knowledge, to go out there and teach. Right? It says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. Right? Because you have to teach this thing in sincerity. You can't be coming, you know, with some underhanded shit or your own agenda. Because it don't work like that. This is the Most High's program, not your program. That's why it says, take no thought what you shall speak, for it shall be given to you what you shall speak. For it is not you that speak, but the Spirit of your Father that speaketh in you. Because it's the Lord's program that's going to be brought out. Like the Apostle Gabar just did a lesson on Moses, you know, and how he wasn't eloquent. He prayed to the Lord, he wasn't eloquent. And we actually spoke about that at the camp a few days before a day or two before a day or two before he made that. Towards the end of the camp, we mentioned about Moses not being eloquent, and how the Apostle Gabar went into it. You know how he said that Moses he was fluent in the Egyptian language, but his Hebrew was broken. So that's why he lacked confidence, because his Hebrew was broken. He was sent to a people that spoke the Hebrew language. You know, so the Lord said, don't worry about that, man. Just go do what I tell you to do. You know, it's going to be you and Aaron. Y'all go do and handle this business that I gave you to handle. And just be quiet with that. You know, because the Most High made the eye. The Most High made the ears. The Most High made the mouth. You know, and whatever the Lord wants to come out will come out. All right? It says, but if thine eye be evil, well, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? It's saying that it's still going, but it's saying over here that it's buffering. So I don't know if it's buffering or not, but I'm going to get ready to close out. I'm going to hit a couple more scriptures, but I'm going to close up pretty soon. I'm hoping that it's still going. I'm hoping that it's just... okay, cool. The water, the brother GMS Kodar Shapat Shalom said it's still going. All right. So it says, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. See? So meaning you have ulterior motives, because your mind is not really focused on the truth. You're using the truth for your benefit or for your gain, or you know about the truth, but the truth is lacking because your heart is set somewhere else. You left your first love. It says, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? See? How great is that? Because no lie is of the truth. So either you got to teach it 100% or don't teach it at all. You know, go back to the drawing board. It says, woe to the idle shepherd that leaveth the flock. The sword shall be upon his arm and upon his right eye. His arm shall be clean dried up, and his right eye shall be utterly darkened. So they're going to be darkened. You know, the scriptures tell you in the book of Micah that, let's see, I started at 6, Micah 3 and 6. Therefore night shall be unto you. That's talking about you idle shepherds, you false prophets. Night shall be unto you that you shall not have a vision. It says, and it shall be dark unto you that you shall not divine. You're not going to be able to use this knowledge or this word to deceive the people anymore. Because the Lord's going to cause a separation. He's going to cause something to happen to where he's going to separate his men from the false prophets. And his men are a great millstone, and anyone else out there that teaches the same doctrine that great millstone is teaching. You know, because that is a true and proper doctrine. All right? You could accept it or not. It's not bragging or boasting. It's just telling the truth. All right? It says, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. Why? Because they're not going to have any... See, right now, they could dazzle or bedazzle the people, you know, with their speeches. But it's going to come a point where they're not going to be able to do that, because the Lord's going to cut them off on every angle, and the people are going to be looking at them and say, "Man, you said that the concentration camps wasn't real. You said that the mark of the beast wasn't the microchip. You know, you said this, you said that, you know, and they may go to try to put his ass to death, as it says in Zechariah the 13th chapter. They might try to go put his ass to death, you know." Because some of these people wholeheartedly believe all the research you've done. You didn't take the time to research the mark of the beast in the book of Revelation. If you would have researched that, you would have noticed that it was something that is actually implanted into you. You know? But that's another story. It says, then shall the seers be ashamed. Okay. Yeah, according to this, it's back. Okay, the water. Yeah, because I mean on my on the tablet it's let me see. Just hit refresh, brothers. Hit refresh. Put it on the comment board, you know, for other brothers to hit refresh, and it should come back up. All right, the water, possible bar. It just can't handle the fire. Okay, so Micah 3 and 7. Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. Yea, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer of the Most High. Right? They're not going to have any answers. They're not going to be able to tell Israel. They're not going to be able to pull that jive turkey move anymore. You know, that jive talk that they be doing. They're not going to be able to do that anymore. And that goes for those that know that they're Israelites, and that goes also for these pork chopping preachers in the churches. You know, and even the ones that are false prophets that may not even eat pork. You know, even them, it goes to them also. It says, but truly I am full of power by the Spirit of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and of judgment and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression and to Israel his sin. And we are persecuted because we tell Israel that. We are persecuted because we tell them that they're going off. And we're persecuted by men that are supposed, that are Israelites, that know that they're Israelites, and that know that the Lord said to go out here and curse for the wicked